Every single year, thousands and thousands and thousands of people decide, this is my year, I'm going to start a garden this year. They buy the seeds, they get everything ready, and then within 30 days, everything starts looking yellow, droopy, leaves start falling off, and you're like, man, I don't really have a green thumb, I guess. That's not necessarily true, y'all. Most gardens fail within the first 30 days because of 5 very specific points, which we're about to go over. So if you're a brand new beginner gardener, this video just might save your garden this year. Number one killer of most gardens is love. Didn't see that one coming, did you? Okay, seriously. We love our gardens so much that we just constantly overwater them. Overwatering will completely kill your garden. Plants don't just need water to survive. The roots also need air. They need oxygen to help thrive. So your soil cannot constantly stay wet and swampy and soppy. It's got to be able to dry out to a point. So when we're saying you need to have a good, well-draining soil, that's what we're talking about, to where the soil stays damp. The roots can also get air along with nutrients and water from the soil. Overwatering is such a bad thing to do, but it's because we think, oh, we gotta water, we gotta water, we gotta water. Not always, y'all. Back off the watering just a little bit. It's a simple way to test if your soil needs water. Whether you're talking about a container, maybe you're going to grow in containers like I do, or you're talking about beds. It's all the same. Put your finger, it's called the soil test. Put your finger about 2 inches into the soil. If you feel dampness down here, don't water. If it's dry when you put your finger into the soil, that's when you need to water. So think about that as you're starting your gardens. You do not want to overwater. Here's another point that a lot of brand new gardeners don't know. If your plant is in soil that is somewhat dry, your plant is then going to push those roots to grow deeper into the soil in search of water. So if you let your soil get just a little dry, you're actually helping that plant to strengthen itself by pushing those roots deeper and deeper to go find the water that it needs. Your plants will grow stronger with a little dry soil as opposed to constantly sitting in soppy, swampy soil. Okay, sunlight. Now this one might shock you just a little bit, but sunlight is incredibly important. And if you do not have your plants getting enough sunlight that they need, your plants are going to be affected greatly, and then your garden is going to be greatly affected. Now, a lot of beginner gardeners will put plants on patios and things of that nature and think, hey, this is plenty of sunlight. I mean, it's plenty bright over here. They'll do fine. But what they don't know, or what you might not know, is that plants need direct sunlight. Not brightness, not sitting in the shade and then it's super bright. They need direct sunlight. They need the sun hitting the plant like the sun's hitting my face right now. That's what they need. They have to have direct sunlight, and if they don't, they are going to be affected badly. Tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, for example, need basically 6 to 8 hours of direct sunlight every single day. Not filtered, not shade, not morning glow. They need direct sunlight. And some plants need more than just 6 to 8 hours of direct sun. So that is where getting into the specifics of your plants that you're going to grow comes into play. You have to know what those plants specifically need in regards to the sun. Keep this in mind. If your plants look alive, but they're not growing, sunlight is probably the issue. So think about that. So before we move on to the next point, I just thought of something. You need to know what your sun pattern is for your garden. In other words, how does the sun cross your garden or the area that you're going to grow in? That's incredibly important. You need to map out your sun. That way you can properly plan where you're going to put your crops, your garden, your raised beds. And that way you're ensuring you have plenty of sun hitting your garden. So, sun map. Okay, now this third point, I think everybody, I even do this, and I've been gardening now. This will be my 6th year. Planting too soon. We all get that itch. We've been dreaming about a garden all winter long. I'm going to grow this, I'm going to grow that. I just got these awesome seeds, you know, just super excited. And we get our seeds going inside. Next thing you know, it's like, man, you know what? It's really nice weather. Why don't we go ahead and get them planted? And then you plant too early, the soil's not warm enough, or then you get a freak frost that hits, and you just lost all those starts that you had already been, you know, growing and pampering and taking care of for nothing. Now, besides frosts, keep this in mind. Plants need warm soil. Between 60 and 70 degrees is basically the starting point for plants to then be planted into the soil. So if your temps have been consistently in those areas, give it a few days, make sure it stays consistent, and then you can start planting. The cold soil actually stunts them, which was something I didn't know when I started gardening. I was just like, hey, I've got my plants hardened off, they're ready to go, the temps are nice, but I'd never even thought about the soil. The soil temp is very important. Think of it like this: if you're starting your seeds inside and you put them on a heat mat, well, think of your soil as that permanent heat mat. It needs to be warm. Now, if you do happen to plant too soon and your plants start to look yellow or things of that nature, give it a little bit of time. Let the temps warm up, let that soil warm up, and usually the plants will come back if they're not too far gone. So don't think that you did anything wrong. Just keep it in mind. If you're watching this video, I'm giving you a secret here. The plants care more about your soil temp than the air temp. Okay, so while we're talking about soil temp, let's talk about bad soil. Yes, that is the 4th issue that a lot of people have when they're growing their gardens, is the soil isn't good. So let's think of it this way. When you go to wherever you get your soil, right? If you don't really know what you're doing, which a beginner gardener, you really don't, you might go and find the cheapest bag. And for some reason, people have it in their mind, topsoil. Topsoil is not usually for gardens. Topsoil is usually for yards. Usually. There's always the exceptions. But what you want to do is get a soil that is specifically designed, i.e. well draining, full of nutrients, for vegetables, for raised beds. Might be a little bit more expensive, but if you're going into this journey of gardening, soil is the foundation of your garden. Think about building a house. You want a solid foundation, right? We've all heard the old saying, we're not going to build a house on quicksand. No, you need a solid foundation to build your home. Well, your garden's foundation is the soil. So you need to make sure you are getting good premium soil. And there's a million different ways of doing that. You can make your own, like I've done out here for multiple years. And then I just amend over and over and over and just keep letting all that nutrients just stay down in the beds. So bad soil will absolutely kill your garden just like that. You have to spend the money to get your gardens going well first, or else, to be honest, you're kind of wasting your time. Just being real, just keeping it real. So just to let you all behind the curtain a little bit, when I make my soil, I do a mixture of organic compost, a good garden soil. So I'll go and get like a rose mix or a vegetable mix, just a little bit of that. I'll do Purolite and cocoa coir or peat moss. I'll do mixtures, mix them up, and then make the beds. That is how I started every bed out here. And then twice a year, at a minimum, I come back through and I amend heavy with compost and more garden soil. And I layer them. And all the soil in these beds are at least 4 to 5 years old. So there's tons of nutrients in them. They're constantly being amended. And I spend a lot of time taking care of the beds. all of them, even the container garden. Everything I have out here that I'm going to grow something in, I have taken very, very good care of the soil because it is so doggone important, y'all. So keep that in mind. If you're a beginner gardener and you're like, I'm about to start getting this journey going, you need to have a good, solid soil game. You have to. It's non-negotiable. This fifth one, I guarantee everyone who has gardened is guilty of this one. And it's not one you're going to think of, but it's doing too much. Y'all, plants do not constantly need to be amended, to be moved, to be up potted, to be shifted from here to there. Plants need consistency. Plants need to be put in a spot and left alone. So, what am I talking about? Not necessarily just container gardening, but when you transplant something, now I'm guilty of this, I'm not gonna lie. There was a time where if I put, say, eggplants in a specific bed, if they didn't look like they were doing right, I would uproot them and shift them. Peppers, I've done this with peppers so many times, it's ridiculous. And I'm calling myself out on it because I'm guilty of it. When you plant something, make sure that you're thinking about where you're planting it, right? Make sure you know your sun pattern. Again, we're back to that, sun pattern. And where you're planting, make sure it's a viable spot for that specific plant, all right? Once it's planted, you gotta leave it alone. You've got to allow those roots to get established so it can start, so that the plant can start pushing those roots out to, again, establish their root system, find the nutrients that it needs, find the water that it needs, find everything that it needs. But that means the plant has to be left alone. If you've got them in containers, you can move those a little bit easier. But again, once you put your container where it's going to be, my advice is leave it alone. Unless it is absolutely like a dire thing, move it. Now, I did this last year, not gonna lie. I had peppers in containers over there, and the sun in the evening was just cooking the snot out of those peppers, especially in August and July here where I am in zone 9B, just north of Houston. So I shifted those peppers out of the sun. That's kind of a different story. That's okay to a point, but you don't want to constantly keep moving your plants all over the place. Just let them be. Just let them be. They don't need to be amended all the time. They don't need constantly being, like I said earlier, overwatered, things of that nature. So reel yourself in a bit. Trust me, I'm guilty of it. You got to reel yourself in just a little bit, and you will see how fast your garden will will start to really take off once you just kind of back off a little bit from doing a little bit too much. In closing, let me say this. When you start your garden, give it time. Observe what's going on. Don't start yanking things out because they start to look a little yellow, the leaves start to curl, you start to kind of panic a little bit. Allow your garden to live. You're not doing anything wrong, okay? Most gardens that fail within the first 30 days isn't necessarily because of the gardener. It's because the gardener doesn't know how young plants are supposed to act, how they're supposed to grow. Growing pains, pests, disease, etc., etc. Allow your garden to thrive by just stepping back and observing. All right, that's my best advice I can give you. And the other 5 points that I just went over. But again, gardens take time to learn. Plants take time to learn. Every plant is a little different. You can grow a tomato really quick. Peppers are finicky and a pain in the butt, but when they get growing, it's awesome. But it takes time to learn all the tricks, all the nuances of the plants and what they need and what they don't need and what you can plant next to them, what you can't plant next to them. There's a lot to gardening, y'all. If you're just starting this journey, first off, welcome. And second, follow the 5 points that I laid out in this video. So hopefully you will start your gardening journey off on the right foot and be off to the races. You know what I mean? So with having said all that, I'm gonna let everybody go. If y'all learned anything from this video, if you got anything out of it, do me the 5 favors. Share, like, comment, hype, and subscribe to this channel if you've not done so already, and join this fast-growing community of like-minded gardeners here on YouTube. And from the bottom of my heart, everyone, take care. May God continue to bless each and every one of you and your gardens, and I'll talk to you again real soon.